Jorge Ramos, qué placer tenerte aquí.
Gracias. ¿Lo vamos a hacer en Spanglish?
No, lo hacemos en dual language, que es una cosa distinta culturalmente. I'm going to ask you a question that nobody asked you before. Are you an activist or a journalist?
I love the question because I've been asked that question a lot since I had this interesting encounter with Donald Trump. And I am just a journalist who asks questions. But the difference is that sometimes I take a stand. And I think as journalists, you have to take a stand when it comes to certain issues. Because if you don't do that, then you're not doing your job as a journalist. I think the most important social responsibility that we have as journalists is to confront those who are in power. So when it comes to racism, discrimination, corruption, public lies, dictatorships, and human rights, you have to take a stand. If not, you don't do your job. Did you see Spotlight, the movie?
Of course. I saw Spotlight. I talked to Marty. I interviewed my boss. Yes, I did everything, all of the above.
All right, okay. So I am completely convinced that they took a stand. Did they take a stand against those who were in charge of the Catholic Church in Boston? Did they took a stand with the victims? I think they did, and that's good journalism.
So if you're a reporter who just asks questions, why are you so controversial? Why are you so hot in Anglo media? Maybe because you are the Latino guy in Anglo media? Is that an answer, maybe?
No, I think it has to do because we are addressing issues that you might not regularly see in English language media. I think we are dealing with issues of lack of representation. We are 17-18% of the population Latinos. We only have 3 senators. And then when it comes to immigration, when was the last time that you saw an undocumented immigrant on English language TV? Never.
Well, when was the last time that I saw a PhD Hispanic speaking in English language media ever?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think what we are doing, we are addressing and bringing up issues that nobody else is, simply because it's personal to us. When I'm talking about immigration, I'm talking about my neighbors, my friends, my coworkers. I'm talking about you and me. So it is close to our heart. That's where I'm doing it.
Okay, give me a number. So it's a short answer. How many times a president has lied to you? How many times a politician has lied to you?
Well, I mean, we are assuming that many politicians, but not all of them. Let me tell you, I think not all of them. I've met very honest politicians who tell you one thing and then at the end they simply cannot deliver.
Okay.
However, what I'm trying to do in my interviews is to do a lot of background. The great interviewer, Barbara Walters, she's still working, and she says she's doing a lot of homework. And I think you got to do a lot of homework before the interview and have to know more about the interviewee than they know themselves. So I think once you know that somebody either lied or made a contradictory statement or simply just didn't keep his word, that's where you go. That's where you have to ask.
The book in Spanish means, is translated, well, I don't know. The original version is Sin Miedo.
Sin Miedo.
The English version is Take a Stand. Take a Stand. Well, before the interview, I don't know, we were being recorded already. We said that it's timely, it comes at the time because of Trump.
Yeah.
So are you rebelde porque Trump te hizo así, or what happened?
No, I think that as journalists, and I'm completely convinced of this, sometimes you have to take a stand. When you talk to a dictator, do you approach a dictator the same way you approach a victim of that dictatorship? You do completely different interviews.
Yes.
And then when Donald Trump said that Mexican immigrants were rapists, criminals, and drug traffickers, I knew he was wrong. Not because my opinion, but because all the information that I have. The vast majority of immigrants are not criminals, nor rapists. And immigrants are less likely to be criminals than those born here in the United States. So that's the only thing I did was I confronted Donald Trump with that. And then with the absurd, stupid idea of trying to build a 1,900-mile wall between Mexico and the United States, when almost 40% of the people, they come with a visa or by plane.
By plane. It's true that liberty brings happiness, but only courage brings liberty. So tell me about the courage of your rebels here in the book. What are the lessons of the book? What have you learned writing this book?
I think what I've learned is that everybody has a fear. That the people who really changed this world, they had their fears, their doubts, and then they were able to recognize that. They conquered their fears, and then they changed the world. My real heroes are, for instance, the dreamers. The dreamers, when they started the movement in 2010, 4 of them, I don't know if you remember, they walked all the way from Miami to Washington. Right. 4 of them. Yeah. 4 kids. They were going to be deported, arrested, and they were going to be sent to a country they don't know. And they are the ones who taught me that the first step is to lose the fear. The other lesson is from Desmond Tutu, who fought with Nelson Mandela in South Africa. And he told me something beautiful. He told me, you have to know that at the end, you're going to win. And those 2 lessons are incredible. They're priceless.
Look, let me go into the other language. ¿Por qué esta generación, por qué la generación de nuestros hijos es tan importante para Estados Unidos?
Porque ellos son los que ya están cambiando Estados Unidos. A ti y a mí nos tocó el trabajo de abajo, ¿no? Nos tocó ser de los poquitos. Nos tocó no tener poder. Nos tocó hacer los trabajos que nadie más quería hacer. Y ahora nuestros hijos, tus hijos, tú tienes 2, ¿no?
Sí, señor.
Y yo tengo 2.
Como tú, muy parecidos en edad, sí.
Claro, y esos hijos de nosotros están cambiando ya los Estados Unidos. Nosotros hemos pasado, los latinos, de pasar de grandes números a poder. Ese poder que tú y yo no tuvimos, lo tienen ellos. Y yo puedo decir con orgullo y casi llorando que mis hijos tienen una mejor vida que la que yo tuve. Mejores oportunidades que las que yo tuve. Y tus hijos, me acabas de contar, tienen mejores oportunidades que las que tú tuviste. Para eso vinimos aquí.
Y son más inteligentes que yo.
Más inteligentes, más poderosos, no tienen miedo, no esperan. Tú y yo, ¿cuánto esperamos, hombre? Yo esperé a que...
Pero nos quejamos más nosotros que ellos, ¿eh?
Porque nos teníamos que quejar más. Y entonces, ahora ellos, nosotros hemos hecho el trabajo de abajo, ¿no? Mi papá era arquitecto. Mi papá hizo el trabajo de los cimientos, ¿no? De la base. Y ahora a ellos les toca empezar desde ahí. Y ellos pueden llegar a ser el próximo presidente, el próximo CEO de Facebook, de Google, pueden cambiar el mundo porque no tienen los problemas que tú y yo teníamos.
Quiero que veas 2 imágenes y que me cuentes cuál es el viaje, cuál es la trayectoria que hay entre una y otra. Una es esta portada del Tiempo Latino. Sí. Go back to Mexico. Sorry, claro. Go back to Univision.
No, pero es lo mismo. Es lo mismo. Son palabras... Code words, les dicen en inglés, serán palabras código que significan otra cosa.
Ese fue el grito, para quien no lo recuerde, el grito de Donald Trump a Jorge Ramos.
¿Y qué me dijo después? Un seguidor de Donald Trump, segundos después me dijo, get out of my country. O sea que es muy peligroso que un candidato presidencial ataque a minorías porque poco después otros van a hacer exactamente lo mismo.
La pregunta no terminaba ahí. Lo que pasa es que como eres periodista interrumpes. Ya. Te encanta. La pregunta continuaba porque en realidad la meta era esta. Desde ahí hasta aquí. Ya. Estamos con un Donald Trump haciendo de domador del GOP. ¿Qué está pasando, Jorge Ramos?
Es que nos rompemos la cabeza tratando de entender lo que pasa y lo que está ocurriendo es muy sencillo. Es la explicación más sencilla del mundo. Hay millones de norteamericanos que piensan como Donald Trump. Eso es todo.
Okay.
Y Donald Trump...
Pero hay una cosa que se llama clase media que se está perdiendo, hay una cosa que se llama ansiedades raciales, hay una serie de justificaciones socioeconómicas, ¿no?
Hay muchas bases distintas, pero al final de cuentas...
La identidad del Partido Republicano.
Al final de cuentas, lo que existe son millones de norteamericanos que piensan exactamente como Donald Trump. Y la idea central de todo esto está en un concepto nostálgico de los Estados Unidos. Nos quieren regresar a un Estados Unidos que ya no existe. Ellos quieren un Estados Unidos donde las minorías no sean tan importantes, donde todavía se pueda discriminar, donde...
A mí eso me recuerda a las películas de Doris Day. Yo creo que nos quieren llevar a las películas de Doris Day. Lo que pasa es que a mí Doris Day me gustaba. Claro. Y me erotizaba mucho cuando era pequeñito. Quiero terminar la conversación porque si no, yo me estaría toda una vida, como tú bien sabes. Simplemente preguntándote algo que me obsesiona porque estoy metido en eso en otro nivel, pero de una manera semejante. ¿Cómo vives tu esquizofrenia lingüística, tu dual language, dual culture, el hombre de Univisión, the man of fusion? ¿Cómo lo estás viviendo?
Lo vivo con mucho estrés, porque tengo que saltar de un lenguaje a otro. En español me siento seguro y puedo hablar contigo horas y horas. En inglés tengo que pararme y pensar. Y tengo que todavía pensar si gramaticalmente estoy hablando bien, si el acento es correcto o no. Todavía tengo esas pausas. Y yo creo que gracias a eso, en inglés puedo pararme y pensar. Y eso me ayuda, para no decir cosas que no debo.
When you speak in English, you speak with a great American accent.
I speak with a Latino accent, with a Mexican accent.
Which is an American accent, damn it.
It's an American accent.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because I think the beautiful thing about accents is that it tells you where you come from. And when I talk and when you talk, we are saying, yes, we are Americans. However, we came from somewhere else. ¿No?
Jorge Ramos, qué placer tenerte aquí. Muchas gracias por esta conversación y seguiremos porque yo te sigo.
Gracias, y yo te sigo a ti.
Y como nos seguimos, nos queremos. Un placer.
Gracias.
Chao.